Today we're going to be talking about the basic supplies you need, the basic things that you need to get started. I'm also going to go over a few items that you will need that may help you later, but you necessarily don't need to buy them right at the beginning of your journey. So stay tuned. All right, so I want you to think about this as a business, okay? You are a business, you are self-employed, you are a business owner. So therefore, you need to keep in mind that the things that I'm talking about, the things that you use to start your business are expenses of your business. So they need to be tracked and monitored for your tax purposes at the end of the year or quarterly, all right? So today we're going to be discussing supplies, but just remember that any insurance, any courses, any classes, any bonds, when you're buying your application or buying or applying for your commission, you have to purchase that. All of those things are part of your business or the building of your business, so those need to be included in the expenses. I know sometimes when we're just getting started, we're just quick to just go ahead and just purchase it. You're not tracking it. You're using your personal income. You're not using a business credit card. But if you make note of it in some kind of software or spreadsheet or QuickBooks, it's going to help you out in the long run, especially during tax time when you get to write off all of those business expenses. All right, we are going to be talking more about business expenses. We're going to be talking about tax information later on in our course or in our Notary Academy. So if you haven't joined the Notary Academy quite yet, I encourage you to go look around and see if it is something that could benefit you. The link to that is down below in the description box, or you could just visit us at www.thenotaryacademy.net. All right, so let's get busy with this list. First, I'm going to go over the things that you need right away in order to start your notary business. First things first on my list, a laser printer. So this is specific to those of you that want to be a notary signing agent, okay? So you're going to want to get a monochrome laser printer, preferably or recommended dual tray over single tray, okay? So the reason why we say dual tray is because you're going to be printing quite a bit of documents with mixed paper sizes. And if you have a dual tray printer, it is going to make your life easier so that you don't always have to switch out the tray or change out or, go do the page separator to change the document size, or so that your printer can print this correct document size. Goodness, I'm losing my words today. But that is why a dual tray printer is recommended. Now, printers are low in supply because everybody's working from home. A lot of people are doing startup businesses in their home, and so printers are low in supply. So it's going to be kind of hard in the beginning to find a printer. That's why it's number 1 on my list. So you're going to want to look on Staples, Amazon, Office Max, Facebook Marketplace, apps like OfferUp and Let Go to find a printer. Okay, now you can use a single tray printer. It's just going to require you to do extra work. You're going to have to change the tray out. You're going to have to, like I said, get software to separate the page sizes. All right, but it's very doable. Lots of notaries do have a successful business with a single tray printer. It is just the recommendation to make your life easier to get a dual tray. You can buy a printer with 1 tray, especially if you're going with the brand Brother, and purchase the additional tray separately. I'm going to link that down below in the the description box as well. So as for me, I use the Brother brand printers for my notary business. Right now I have the HLL 6200, and it is just a monochrome, meaning it's black and white, dual tray laser printer. All right, the one I had before this was the 6400, and both of them work fine. I just basically got the printers that were in stock. So this is the one I'm using right now. I do have a backup printer. It is a single tray printer. but I obviously prefer my dual tray printer. All right, next you're going to want to invest in a stamp. You're going to have to get a stamp if you're going to be a notary. So I always suggest that you get 2 stamps to start off with. One as your main stamp and the other one's going to be a backup stamp. All right, so let me show you mine here. Okay, I've got a standard rectangular stamp. And then I also sometimes like to be a little fancy, so I have a circular stamp here. But I also suggest to my students to maybe get a mini stamp for those documents where they want you to notarize in small spaces. All right. So you can purchase your stamp from the National Notary Association website, Staples, Office Depot, and Amazon. And then the other one, if you're working on business credit, you are probably have heard that you need to get a Quill account for your office supplies. And Quill does make notary stamps as well. And I've ordered from them and they're legit and it comes out just fine. So that's what I recommend for stamps. You need 2 of them at least, because let's say you have an appointment and your stamp jams up, something happens to it, it's just not working properly. If you don't have a backup stamp, then you're just not going to be able to do the job. So always, always, always have a backup stamp with you at all times. All right, the next item on the list is a notary journal. This is the one that I've purchased. I got this one from Amazon. All right, it is called the Modern Journal of Notarial Acts. It is compliant for my state. I always say when you are shopping around for notary journals, you need to make sure that it is compliant for your state. All right, this one is compliant for most states. This is what it looks like on the inside. So once you fill out the information here on this side, you put notes here, the client's name and information here, and you check off what kind of ID you used and write the expiration date. The client signs right here. And then if you're in California, this is where the client will put their thumbprint, okay? Now, the best part about this one is you can just check off the different documents you are notarizing, so you don't have to write a separate entry for every single document. For example, a compliance agreement, a correction agreement, a deed of trust, a deed, E&O insurance, occupational affidavit, okay, proof of ID affidavit. All you have to do is check J for jurat, check A for acknowledgement. Guys, this is one of the best ones to get. So you can get this one from Amazon. Now, if you got your basic package with the National Notary Association, they provide you with a basic notary journal with your package. And that one is just fine to use as well. I have that one. I just preferred to get one that does not require me to write a whole different entry per page I'm notarizing. I like to check off the ones that I'm notarizing instead of creating more work for myself, basically. So this is a requirement to be a notary. This notary stamp requirement, loan signing agent, you do need a printer, okay? If you're doing just general notary work, then you probably are not going to use a printer very much or at all unless you're adding printing services to your notary business. All right, next on my list of supplies that you have to have in order to start your notary business is a fingerprint pad. Now, this is required for those of you that are in California because California requires a thumbprint record for all documents affecting real estate property, okay, as well as power of attorney. So go ahead and go to Amazon and pick that up. It's very cheap, but it is a requirement. All right, next on my list is a laptop, okay? I'm using an HP basic laptop for my notary business, or basically just for everything, just because it communicates very well with my Brother printer. I don't ever have any issues with it, and it's easy to use. All right, so you're going to want to also think about if you are going to do RON or remote online notary. If that is the case, you're going to definitely want a laptop, or you're going to want a tablet or iPad so that you can conduct your remote online notarizations. If you're doing IPEN, where you're going to the client's home or office and allowing them to sign electronically on your device, just know that you're going to have to invest in a device so that you could do that. All right. So that is required if you're going to do RON. I highly recommend just a basic laptop for emailing, for when you're having to scan back, for when you're communicating with your escrow officers, when you're doing back office accounting work. You're going to need some kind of a computer or a laptop. Okay, that should be a given at this point. If you are starting a business, you know that you need a laptop, guys. All right, so the next on the list is business cards. Business cards are essential to your business because you need people to know that you exist as a business. You need to know, people need to know how to contact you. People need to know where you're located or if you're mobile, okay? So easy. Business cards are super easy to create. You can use a template or you can create your own. Here is mine. Okay. I use the neutral colors for my business card. I keep a headshot on mine and my title, my name, the title that I give myself, which is a notary signing agent. Okay. My phone number, my email, my address, and my website. On the back, I keep it pretty simple. I have my slogan on the back, and then I have a QR code, and that makes it easy for my clients to book with me. One last thing I wanted to mention about the business card and the QR code is if you are wanting to know how to add a QR code to your business card, you can either download an app or go to a website, just Google QR code and place it on your business card that way. Or if you go to Canva, you can go to QR code generator and embed in the embedded tools and add it to your credit card that way. All right, next we've got another essential if you are a notary signing agent, meaning you are notarizing documents for the real estate industry. You're going to need paper. All right, you want to buy 2-size paper. You want to buy a legal size case of paper, and you want to buy letter size paper. All right, the best places with the biggest sales or the most sales on paper are Costco, Sam's, Walmart. All right. You'll want to go ahead and create an account because if you're a loan signing agent or a notary signing agent, you're going to go through paper quite a bit. So go ahead and have an account so that you can reorder those, reorder the paper easily. Okay. All right. Next we have on the list, oh yes, obviously blue and black ink pens. This is good for if you're going to be a notary signing agent or if you are doing general notary work. You need pens. All right, so you are going to get black and blue pens. Majority of the time, if you're doing loan documents, you're going to need blue pens, but do get both because every now and then black ink is required. So here is where I keep my extra pens. All right, just right here, easily accessible. I keep a few in my notary bag, but this is just where I keep the extra ones separately so that my bag isn't so bulky with a bunch of pens. Okay, and obviously you know that you can get pens anywhere. Amazon, Walmart, Target, the dollar store, wherever you can get your hands on them on a good sale, that's where you need to purchase them. All right, the next thing on the list is a scanner. Okay, if you are a notary signing agent, you're working with signing services, or you're working directly with a title company. Okay, if that is the case, and if that is you want to get a scanner. Okay, they will want you to scan the documents back right after the appointment, probably like within 2 hours is what I've seen on the instructions, is that they want you to scan back within 2 hours. Okay. They want you to scan before They're going to want you to scan the documents before you drop them off at FedEx or UPS. All right, so think about that when you're planning your day, when you're just planning things in general. So the brands, again, that you're going to want to consider when you're shopping for a scanner are the Brother brand. It matches very well with the printer. It works just fine. You want to either think about if you're going to get a portable scanner or the big one, the one where you kind of just leave in your office. The difference between those are obviously how many pages you can scan per minute. Okay, so the portable ones, I usually recommend at least 20 pages per minute so that you can scan a package within about 8 to 10 minutes. All right, if you get the bigger ones, those you can scan packages just like that. So it's really up to you how much you can afford, how much space you have, how you have your business set up. Okay, if you go back to the office to scan, do you scan in your car, do you scan at FedEx? You know, it's up to you. You're going to have to decide how you want to structure that part of your business. Okay, Epson is another good brand for the scanner. I actually prefer the Epson scanner over the Brother scanner because it allows you to use the power source from your laptop and you don't have to plug it into an outlet. You can, like I said, use the power from your laptop in order to turn it on and scan. And to me, that's golden. And so I actually have a Brother and an Epson, like I said, and I prefer Epson over the Brother. The one I had was the Epson 300, but you can get whichever one matches your business plan and your pockets. All right. So the other one to think about is a Raven scanner. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're super fast and super efficient. So please look into all three of those brands if you're considering or not considering, if you are needing a scanner. Okay. Let's see on the list, and now we have for my people who are just starting out, you're going to want to get the sign here tags or the notarize here tags. All right, as a new notary, you're going to want a system in place to help you track and maintain an error-free appointment, okay, an error-free reputation. While you're getting used to the documents, the whole process of loan signing, I recommend you label the area on the pages where the signer needs to sign and where you need to notarize, okay? It's going to help the process go smoothly. It's going to relieve some of that anxiety that you're probably going to have in the beginning, so that you make sure that you don't miss a signature, they don't miss a signature, you don't miss a stamp, all those good things, or an initial, okay? You can get many different kinds. You can get the ones that actually say sign here, initial here, notarize, or you can get the blank ones where you do all the signatures just in a yellow, and then you do all the areas for initials in red, and then all the areas for notarize in blue. Okay, it's up to you, but I do recommend that in the beginning so that you can get used to where your signers need to sign, and so that you can build your confidence level up. Okay. All right, the next thing you're going to need is packaging supplies. You're going to need to think about how you will present the documents to your borrowers and how you're going to present the documents back to the title company, or how you're going to present the documents back to the lender when you send it back. Okay, so you're going to want to get things like paper clips. You're going to want to get rubber bands. You're going to want to get file folders, legal size file folders, letter size file folders, binder clips, manila envelopes. You want to keep the documents organized and not, all loosey-goosey in the packaging when you send it back, okay? The lender is going to look at that whenever they get your documents back. Are they in there nice and neatly and packed nice, or are the pages all bent and rumbled up in there because you didn't put anything on it to keep it secure? All right? So you need to think about that. So, and when you're with a client, you're going to want to present the documents, their extra copies, in some way. You can just put their copies in a manila folder. You can give them their copies with a rubber band or a binder clip. You have to just think about what it is you want to do for your business, okay? Other supplies that I have found useful for organization are these plastic or poly legal size folders. I don't give these to my clients, and I don't give these to the title company. They're merely for organization while I'm transporting my documents from my office to the appointment. So if I have 3 appointments, I'm going to have 3 of these. Each appointment has their own envelope. All right. So it just helps the document stay secure, organized, and so you can see exactly what you have going on for the day. On the top, you may put a cover sheet of whose appointment this is, or information that pertains to the appointment. You're going to want to have a system in place for organization. And so highly recommend these. You can get them in clear, or you can get various colors. I have all of them. Over the years, I've purchased a lot. I've got red, yellow, and then clear. I've been using the clear mostly lately because that's just the last kind that I bought, the last color. And clear is not really a color, but that's what I use. All right, so it keeps everything nice and organized and in a good, safe place, okay? All right, what else do you need to start your notary business right now? Thank you cards. You're going to want to show gratitude. Okay, you will soon learn that marketing your business is going to be an ongoing, everyday activity. Okay, show gratitude. Thank your clients, thank your lenders, thank your title companies for their business, for the opportunity for you to work with them, for just talking to them. If they didn't give you an appointment, but they did take 10 minutes out of their day to talk to you, send them a thank you card. Clients that reach you from the community to do power of attorney or come into the nursing home, send that person a thank you card. Send the owner of the nursing facility a thank you card for allowing you to come into their facility to help their customers, okay? Here is what my thank you card is. Now you can get a generic thank you card from Walmart, Target, or you can customize your thank you cards. I have chosen to customize my thank you cards. So here is my card. It says thank you, and at the bottom it has my business name on it, okay? If you open it up, I would write a personal message here with pen so that it can be more, you can kind of give more of a connected experience with your client or with the company. And then at the bottom, I have my name again, my business company, my phone number, my email address, okay? So it's kind of like a thank you card / business card all in one, but you're still showing gratitude, okay? If you are using this in marketing, sometimes I add little $5 gift cards in here. I'll tape a piece of candy on it with some cute saying. I use this for a lot of things. Just saying thank you goes a long way. Just like I thank you guys all the time for watching my channel, for supporting me, for joining the Notary Academy, all of those things. I'm thanking you by telling you I'm thanking you, giving giveaways, doing all kinds of things. You need to be doing the same for your business, okay? Go in your community and just show gratitude for the opportunities that they're giving you, okay? All right, next on our list is a notary bag. Yes, my favorite part, just because I like cute things. But obviously, you do not have to get the most fanciest, cutest bag. You basically just need something to carry your supplies around, your documents around, something that's secure and something that's easy for you to transport, okay? I personally like to use a rolling briefcase because it's easy to lug around. I typically am doing at least 3 or maybe 4 loan packages or real estate closings a day, and sprinkle some general notary work in there. The general notary work doesn't require much in my bag, but because I'm doing loans or real estate closings, those packages are thick and my bag gets heavy, so I use a rolling bag to roll that baby around. If you want to know more about the bag that I use, I have linked it right here in this video. You can click that to see what exactly, what kind of bag I use, what's in my bag. But I'll show you right now very quickly. I use a leather briefcase type bag. Here it is. Sorry guys, she's a big one, but she holds everything, okay? It's got compartments in it on the front, inside, sides, everything. This is my go-to, okay? Take her everywhere. I've had her for about 2 years and she's lasted very well. Again, if you're interested, I will link this down below so you can look and see if this will work for you. But you don't need to have one this big if you don't plan on like doing this full time, or you just wanted to take one package at a time. It's really up to you what you want to do. All right. And let's see, the next item you're going to want is a smartphone. Okay. Smartphone is a requirement for the job. Because, let me tell you, because easy communication with the lender, the title company, your customers, all right, your realtors. You're going to want to be able to communicate back and forth through email, through text messaging, through secured messaging, however it is that they want to communicate. Also, this is going to hold any apps that have to do with your business. We will talk about that on another webinar. But apps are going to be on here as far as scheduling and payments go. When you go to appointments, you're going to want to get paid. And if you don't want to use cash, you need to have your phone with you so that you can initiate a payment or an invoice to your customer or your client. Okay, so a smartphone is essential if you're going to do general notary work, if you're going to do loan signing agent work. If you're going to do field inspections, it is pretty much a first priority for that field. You're going to want a smartphone for everything, basically. Sorry. If you don't have a smartphone, how are you even watching me right now? Are you watching me on your website, on your computer or your iPad? I don't know, but make sure you have a smartphone that you can take pictures with, you can scan things on, and that is easy to use. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was for my friends that are RON, or remote online notary. You're going to want to invest in a good headset, okay? When you are doing remote online notaries, it is better to use a headset so that the clients can hear you clearly and so that you can hear them clearly, so that there's no outside noises affecting the session, because it is a recorded session and you just want to give the customer the best experience possible. So I recommend getting a headset for that. Some of the platforms will require a headset. So go ahead and put that on your list of things to get. If you are thinking about or wanting to know what kinds you should look or investigate, I put that down below as well. But they are pretty affordable. Get them for like $15 to $30. There are more expensive ones, but you get the one that matches your budget. All right. All right, so we are almost done with our list here. The next things I'm going to mention are things that are helpful, but you don't need to get them right away. You can get them later on, later down the line, once you've established your business, once you've started making money in your business, okay? All right, guys, so the next thing I want to talk about on our list are things that you don't necessarily need in the beginning of your notary journey, but they will help you later on. So the first thing I want to talk about is a shredder. Sometimes if you're a loan signing agent, sometimes the documents need to be discarded because the appointment was either canceled or the documents need to be redrawn. And so it is your responsibility to discard those documents so that they are not subject to fraud or anyone stealing the client's or the customer's information. All right, so if you're doing loan signing, you know that these documents have social security numbers, they have bank account information, addresses, phone numbers, they have all kinds of personal personal sensitive information, and you need to keep that private. So if you don't start with a shredder. I recommend you going to FedEx or UPS and just shredding there. But later on down the line in your business, you can purchase your own shredder at Walmart, Target, Staples, or Amazon. They are very affordable, but it's just something you don't need right away. But I do recommend that you get one for your business because there are going to be times where you're going to need to shred your documents. The next thing I want to talk about is if you are planning to do mobile notary work, meaning on the go, you are going to want to get things to create a mobile notary office. Many people are using their trunk or the back of their car. They're converting it into an office-like area, and so that just requires a little changing of things in your vehicle. So in the back of your car or your trunk, you may have to install certain like plywood things or to hold your printer and hold your scanner on. You're going to want to buy a battery pack, an inverter, all these things so that you can use your printer and your scanner right from your car. Okay, so those are things to consider later down the line, and if you are wanting to truly be a mobile notary, meaning everything is in your car at your fingertips. Okay. The last thing I'm recommending is a business shirt. I touched on this before. I talk about it all day long. You are advertisement for your business, for general notary work, for your wedding officiant business, for your apostille business, for your loan signing business. You need to represent your brand. Branding is everything. So later down the line, whenever you get a little bit more established, you've your logo is set to what you want it to be, go ahead and get you a professional business shirt. I recommend a polo. Okay. It's your uniform, also can be used as an expense and written off at tax time. But I recommend you get a polo and get your logo embroidered onto the shirt. And you can wear that just while you're out taking care of appointments. You can wear them while you're out running errands. You can wear it as a uniform every day. Okay, this saves you money. You don't have to buy different outfits for appointments. If you just have maybe 5 polo shirts with your logo on it, interchange them with some khaki pants, some dress pants, a skirt, whatever you want to do. I recommend doing that. But start off with 2. I have about 4 right now that I just wear depending on the appointment and just depending on the day. If I don't feel like dressing up and I don't feel like thinking about making outfits together, I just put on my work polo and some pants or some slacks, some cute shoes, brush my hair, and I'm out of the door. Okay, so that's what I recommend that you can get later down the line. A company that I use for my business polo shirts is called Queensboro. I will link them down low as well. High quality shirts, lots of different choices of color, type of material, all those things. They have a good quality check system to make sure that your logo is going to turn out awesome on your shirt. So I highly recommend that you consider that once you are a little bit more established and ready to go with that. All right, that is all I have for the notary business supply overview. Hopefully you can use this and start checking off things on your list so that you can get ready to get rolling and launch your business. As always, if you are in the Notary Academy, you can post your questions in the news feed there, or you can join me in mentorship and we can do some more intimate group sessions where we talk a little bit more about it. Thank you for watching today. I will see you guys next time. Happy stamping!